eventually I just asked my mom, like, can I play football? So I started playing at 8 years old. It was pretty good. I had a terrible, like, my dress code was awful when I started.
No swag.
Had a monster cage with a bull ring at the top.
But
no
you could
swag,
run.
no gloves. Yeah, could run.
Was your helmet so heavy that your head went back when you was running around?
When I was running fast, my head would
go
always
up, right?
go back.
Welcome into another exciting edition of Conversations with a Legend. I'm LaVar Arrington. I have a very esteemed guest with me, my man, O Scandrick, Orlando, if you're nasty.
Who's the legend?
You, brother.
No,
you the legend. Hey, so appreciate you coming in, spending a little time with me, share some stories. Obviously, you had a fine career.
Yeah.
You're from Cali, Torrance, right? You're from
Torrance.
I
was born at Torrance Memorial.
You were born in Torrance.
It's no real hospitals in Los Angeles.
Okay.
But I'm from Los Angeles, California.
So you don't claim Cedars-Sinai?
That's in Beverly Hills.
That ain't the real.
That's Beverly Hills.
Oh.
So if I was born there, you'd be like from Beverly Hills, California. That would be the furthest thing from the truth.
Okay. I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So how did you get into football? I mean, obviously, football is really big out here on the West Coast. How did you get into football?
My cousin. It's just something that we used to do. I grew up with a family of cousins, and they would all come to the house on the weekends, and we would play. We started off playing like throw-up tackle, where you For everybody that don't know.
They call it smear. That you can't say the whole thing anymore because it's not proper, but it rhymes with smear and you finish it off.
Okay, the smear. And
smear
then it went
then it
started going to we were playing in the street, like kind of like a 7 on, like all passing. It was sideline pop.
Yeah.
And then eventually I just asked my mom, like, can I play football? So I started playing at 8 years old. It was pretty good. I had a terrible, like my dress code was awful when I started.
No swag.
Had a monster cage with a bull ring at the top.
But
no
you could
swag,
run.
no gloves. Yeah, could run.
Was your helmet so heavy that your head went back when you was running around?
When I was running fast, my head would always go back. And then just continued to play.
All right.
Funny thing, I was really small when I went to high school, so I was like, football's over. I'm gonna go try out for the basketball team. Made the basketball team. I also played baseball. Made the baseball team.
Okay.
And my Pop Warner coach was like, well, why are you not playing? And my age. He was just like, why don't you play one more year at the guys that you're comfortable with? I was like, Coach, but I'm in high school. Why am I going to play with? He's like, but you're small. Like, you're still able to play youth. Like, you're in that in-between. He was like, playing youth ball is going to be better than playing on a freshman team. So played, killed it. The next year, went out for the football team. Never played junior varsity. I think maybe one game. Then was a starter on varsity from there on. Was all league, and then it was just up from there.
And you went to Los Alamitos.
I did.
And they play ball there.
I started off at Artesia High School.
Okay.
And then my sophomore year, when I was all league, I was like, my mom was like,
I'm going to step it up.
You getting college letters already. She was like, maybe we got a chance at this thing. So then I transferred to Los Alamitos for my last 2 years. Okay. And they're really about football there. It's a football school.
All right. So I coach out here, so I've gotten to know the terrain quite a bit, and that's one of the schools that pops out every year is one of those schools. They play ball there. So you were a receiver.
I was a receiver my whole time. I was
you got it, but you got to tell me because the running joke is always receivers that were receivers that don't catch as well as the receivers end up being corners.
Not at all. So it's a difference.
Dispel the rumor.
It's a difference when you've been a receiver. The ball's being thrown to you when you're a receiver. So you're running to a spot and you're looking and the ball's coming to you. And a DB, a lot of times you're in a disadvantageous position that you're catching the ball late. You don't see the ball throughout. You don't play the ball because you have to play the man.
You got to play the man, right.
But I had offers to be a receiver at Oregon, Washington State. I want to say Fresno State, but my defensive coordinator at the time, he said, you're going to be 5'10", 5'11". He said there's a lot of 5'10", 5'11" guys that can run. He said, just trust me, go to a school and play defensive back, and you'll be in the pros in 4 years. He was absolutely right.
Good. Gave you great advice. All right, so you got great advice. Up on Game presents Conversations with a Legend is a show where I want to give guys a voice about the how, right? It's like, all right, now that's the foundation. This is how you got into football, but cousins, different things like that. I like to dig a little deeper, right?
Okay.
Mentality, mindset. You were a smaller dude. My brother was 5'10". I don't know where my height came from, but one thing my brother always carried with him was, you're not going to judge me based off of my size. I'm going to show you how big I really am. What was your mindset?
Well, for me, it was weird because when I started playing, I wasn't smaller. I was playing 7 and 8. So then I move up to 9 and 10. And then the year that I moved up to 9 and 10, it was like, oh, like I am now I had to, one of those kids that can't practice, got to run around with the sweat bag.
Yeah.
You ain't supposed to wear the sweat bag. That's like illegal. That's like child abuse.
The trash bag.
So
right?
I had to run around with the trash bag.
Yeah.
And, I was just a dog. I was physical. I liked the physicality. I grew up in the era of bull in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I was playing smear or throw up tackle. So bull in the ring and was a thing. Like when you first got your pads that first time, and then after bull in the ring was Oklahomas. They call it Oklahomas, but we call it on your back drills. It was tackling, first person to get up. So I embodied and embraced the contact. So that's half of the issue.
Sure.
Even coaching high school, I coached high school as well this year. Just getting someone that actually likes the contact. The contact is the issue. Like a lot of people can play, they just
the courage
they
to
can't.
do it.
Yeah, they can't be themselves because of the contact. So I guess my growing curve kind of stopped. I stopped a little bit between like 12 and 14.
Okay.
And then it began to pick up, but I was still slender. When I got to college, I was like 5'10", 165.
Yeah, that's little.
Yeah,
that's little. But the mentality was what? What separated Orlando Scandrick from everyone else?
So, I was just that dude when I was in Pop Warner, and then I was a little bit of the fear of failure when I got to high school, and I don't know if I can do it with the seniors and the juniors. And then when I became that dude with the seniors and the juniors, then I go to college, and I'm like just trying to fit in. And then when I became that dude in college, and then I seen players that were lesser than me going to the NFL, I already knew what time it was.
Right.
And then I get to the league, and it's just I walk into a locker room with Tony Romo, Jason Witten, Marion Barber, Terrell Owens, DeMarcus Ware. And then, just being able to make plays amongst them and them to be rooting for me on Sundays, then the game started to slow down for me.
When the game slows down, the game truly kicks in. I know for me, sometimes it's almost – I tell guys, you can't be afraid of your success when you have it if it seems like it came too easy.
So the hard part for me was being a late-round draft pick, something you don't know nothing about.
I don't.
You always felt like they were trying to replace you, and they probably always were.
Right.
But once I got that stability and getting that second contract, and I could take those risks and look at the game differently and play the game differently, it started to slow down. Blocks that I wouldn't normally stay outside to force, I'm slipping and making a play because I know I can play. Opposed to when I'm in my first and second year, like if I lose this contain, I'm going to be on the bench next to coach.
Indeed. There's the financial side of all of this. You go from playing the game for the love, you play the game because you're trying to accomplish something, then you make it. And then the question or the statement becomes, once you make money, everything changes. What's your take on money changes things? Your success and that money changed things. How did it change for you, and how did you handle it?
The changes, the expectations within the organization change once they pay you. You see all the time they say they make comments about that they're paying someone, and the expectations change. The expectations change within your family, within your friends. And at times it was difficult. But I was so structured and so into football that I didn't really have a time to wrap my head around that. And I trusted in a lot of bad people and trusted in a lot of good people. And I just tried to learn. And now here I am trying to be the best version of myself every day. And trying to set aside Orlando the father, Orlando the former football player, and Orlando just a regular person. And sometimes I wasn't able to do that. Sometimes I was bringing and I was shouldering so much of Orlando the football player and bringing it home, and it was affecting who I was as Orlando the father and Orlando the significant other or boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah, sure. What would your advice be to those that are aspiring to be great like you were? and great like you are doing now. I mean, you're doing, the podcast. You and TJ have the podcast going on. You guys, I mean, you've done work with FS1.
Yeah.
You're in media. You've transitioned well. You're a grounded dude. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been around you enough times now to know you're a cerebral dude. What advice would you give to guys about that whole thing, about their identity and not losing their identity?
Don't be afraid to be great. Don't ever lose track of the short-term goal. Like, win the day. Carpe diem. Be the best you can be every day, because if you stack the good days, then you're going to have a good week. But don't try to get it all at once. Don't ever get too big for yourself, and just remain humble, and don't – all of us at times went through that stage where we was just like, I'm Orlando. You like, I'm LaVar. Like, when you looking back on it, that don't really mean shit. I'm sorry to curse on air. That don't really mean anything. Just remain humble, stack the days, the good days, embrace the bad days, and just try and be the best version of yourself every day.
My last question for you. I appreciate you giving me the time. I got my man Orlando Scandrick on. What do you want your legacy to be?
I'm working on a bunch of different things now.
Okay.
One, I'm working on the podcast. I really enjoy conveying the game to normal people, but trying to see it through an athletic standpoint or someone that's played standpoint, because so many times, as former players, we go on TV and we got some of our colleagues that go on TV and just act like they never made bad plays in life or never made bad decisions in life.
Right.
So I want to be able to do that to the average fan. And also I'm working on what I'm calling like a football academy or like a football school where, in our game, we're losing track of the fundamentals. So I want to get, some of the top DBs and receivers and just start them early with just their how to handle your body, how to train, and just the technical part of the game. Because in today's game, you look and you see linebackers not wrong shouldering right. You see DBs not stepping replacing. You see receivers not getting in and out of breaks and rip and dip in the right way. And I want to bring that back to the game just to maintain the game of football, because some things in football never change, and that's
true.
Certain type of techniques.
Techniques don't change. They stay true.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming on, man. I wish you all the best. Man, I was always a fan, but I'm more of a fan now getting to know you, the type of dude that you are, man. You're a focused dude, and you go after what it is that your goals are. So continue to do that, man. Orlando Scandrick is up on Game Presents Conversations with a Legend. I'm LaVar Arrington. I'm going to keep them coming. We do it big right here, right now. Check you out in a minute.